said, we should invite some people over here to farm it. I did, to Joan, that's my wife, and we ended up doing it ourselves and hiring some people eventually. But the point is that this small-scale farming is where it's at. We do this here at the inn because our job is to inspire people to understand what's going on. And as the United Nations said, it's actually that article, it's a big thick book, was entitled Wake Up Before It's Too Late. But what's going on that you don't see is the destruction of our grasslands in the planet, not just in Oklahoma. And those grasslands, the last times they were invaded by farmers, caused the Dust Bowl because they don't grow crops efficiently. They do sequester carbon efficiently. And that's what we should do, not pasture them or anything, just let them go back to grasslands.
Over, in this country, over about 40 or 50 years, we've managed to destroy thousands of years worth of soil. And when you consider that humanity depends on that much soil to survive, to grow all that food, to graze animals on, which is totally unsustainable and is causing the destruction of soils even faster. It's a really precious thing to figure out. How do we deal with this salt issue? How do we build soil? How do we give back to nature more than we take so that we can keep the generations going and keep people fed? It's not a raised bed with wood or anything like that, but it's raised because we prepared the soil down, like Jeff had mentioned.
Double dug.
That's double digging. So we're actually getting down 2 feet deep. Normal agriculture gets down about 8 or 10 inches. So what we do is we get down 2 feet, and by doing that, the second principle, the first one's deep soil prep, the second one is close plant spacing. So normal agriculture, you see these wide rows of food. That's because when they plow, they get down 8 or 10 inches and then they create a hard pan with those implements, which means it creates an impermeable layer of compaction below that, where water can't get down, water tables can't be recharged, water can't come up either. Nutrients kind of get stuck, and the whole breathing and biology and metabolism of that soil gets thrown out of whack. And so they have to plant things far apart because the roots can't go down, they have to go laterally, and they bump into each other, and they start losing yields when that happens. So here you can see everything is really close together, and it's on what we call hexagonal spacing, which is the geometry of water molecules, it's the geometry of beehives. It's the most efficient geometry for packing things into a small amount of space. And because we prepared the soil 2 feet deep, the roots can go down instead of bumping into each other sideways, so we get really high yields. This is really all a huge experiment in trying to grow our carbon, which is basically farming carbon out of the air. What you see in front of you as this plant is 96% atmosphere. It's only 4% water and soil. So we're really farming the carbon out of the air, and we're fixing it into the soil, we're creating biomass, and then we're going to compost that efficiently. And that's how we're growing our soil. We can get 2 to 6 times the yields as conventional agriculture and GMO agriculture. GMO promises all these things. We blow them out of the water, and they're not producing compost.
To be excited, to be engaged in life in a full way, it's awesome. I'm 67 now, most of you are younger I think, but it's like my life just gets bigger and bigger. Doing this kind of work, thinking about the impacts that we have, connecting with nature, reconnecting for me, because I used to do this, because that was how we landscape. Then I was able to hire people to do it. It's an awesome way to live.
Been pulled down